Hello, hello. Welcome back. Rama Flores, streaming live from Casa Intihuatana, from northeast of Brazil. Beautiful night today, and happy to hold all these days of sharing tales, sharing stories, sharing practices, sharing the philosophy of our ancestors, the way they taught us, the way they shared with us the wisdom. Uh, we are right now in the second day of the second module of this free training on the agreements with Earth. We share that metaphor, an encounter with Earth, with Pachamama, with Mother Earth, as you can imagine you meeting Mother Earth. What would you say? What would you say? What kind of dialogue you could have with Pachamama? And what kind of agreements you can make upon your own state of consciousness? That's the point. If you get to have a conversation with Earth, what kind of changes you have to make for that dialogue worth it? Yeah. So yesterday we had this conversation about the Pacha. Beatriz Soto, hola, salud de cariño desde Suecia. Qué bueno. I'm mixing Spanish and English. Yesterday we had this Pacha conversation. We talk about the inner and the lower world related to the existence, to Pachamama. And now I want to show you the other side with a bit of I need you to follow my idea. We're going to talk about Hanaqpacha. I'm going to write it here. Hanaqpacha. Right. So Hanak in Quechua language is the sky. It's the which is in the upper side of something. Is the above. So Hanaqpacha is the existence that is above us to the sky. But as we shared yesterday that idea, we are living in this landscape. So the lower part is underneath. The Hanaqpacha is above us. But if we put that scale on my body, this is the landscape. Inside is the Pacha. Outside, what is outside is Hanaqpacha. It's outside of us. So that's with that idea in mind, I want to talk about Hanaqpacha. Hanaqpacha for the Andean people is related to which is in the landscape. If Pachamama is the feminine, the lower part of the landscape, the lakes, the valleys, the land, which is in the lower parts of the land, in Keros Nation, they are, as I said, they are agriculture, they're farmers. and they look after livestock. They look after alpacas and llamas. And the duality is the polarity is so interesting that you can they can imagine this. They can um, classify animals from the Hanaqpacha and animals from the Ujupacha. The llamas are related to the lower part of the landscape. They are bigger. They can hold weight. The llamas. So the llamas are related to Pachamama, to the mother, and the alpacas can walk and climb the mountain very high in the feet of the apu. I think I already told you about the apu. Apu is a beautiful word. Literally means Lord, Lord. And apu for them is the spirits that some mountains hold inside of them. So like a grandfather a, and a keeper of the landscape. So it's a spirit that is living in some mountains, not all of them, some mountains, and that spirit is looking after the landscape. In the high ground, because it's masculine, most of them are masculine. There are some exceptions, which is very interesting for me. It's great to see it. They have some kind of rules, and suddenly they break the rules, and they don't have any issue about it. So there are some apus that are feminine, but few, like Apu Veronica in Peru, very famous, beautiful. But most of them are masculine because the mountains are the metaphoric masculine expression of the landscape. As you can see, it's a prominence, it's coming to the outside. It's like a phallic shape. That's the mountain. That's the apple and the masculine. And all the holding vessel, receptive uh, shaped landscape is feminine, is Pachamama. So the apu, masculine, the cochas or the lakes, feminine, and the masculine aspect, is pointing to the sky. From the top of the mountain, we can be part of the vision of our landscape. So some of the adjectives or qualities of the Apu, the Hanaqpacha, and the masculine aspect is vision, is clarity, is lucidity, is perspective, to look to the horizon, to have a bigger frame. And the Ujupacha, I think I told you yesterday, Ujupacha is related in our body. Yesterday, Ujupacha in our body is related to a very interesting point in our body. The women are more receptive to that point because it's the uterus. But men, we have to imagine that point, which is an energetic point, energetic field inside of us. We call it Cosco. Cusco. Cusco is the same name of the city Cusco. Cusco, it's the same name. Actually, the translation for Cusco is the point of reference. The point of reference. So inside of us, the Cusco is related to the Uhupacha. It's inside. And the qualities for the Cusco, the qualities are receptiveness, abundance, fertility, creativity, and the will, the labor to do things, to work. They call it Yankai. Yankai. So that's the Hupacha. The Hanaqpacha, the sky, is related to the vision, the lucidity, the clarity, the perspective, and the thinking, the ideas, the yachai, the knowledge and the wisdom. So wisdom and knowledge is related to the upper level, the upper world, Hanaqpacha. And from Hanaqpacha, we receive the light of Taita Inti, which is the divine aspect of the Hanaqpacha. If the divine aspect of Uhupacha is Pachamama, the mother, in the sky, the father is Taita Inti. Taita Inti. Taita Inti is father-son, literally. Taita Inti, or Inti Taita as well. So we have expressions of masculine in the landscape, the apus. Now it's very interesting. In Chaos Nation, they have different apus with different powers. One of them is a beautiful mountain called Wamanlipa. Wamanlipa. Beautiful mountain. This mountain has two faces. One face is white and another is black. And that's the reason why is this. It's because one of the faces is the steepness. I think steepness, I don't know how to say that. The angle of the mountain is lower, so it accumulates snow, so it's white. And in the other side is steeper, so the snow couldn't accumulate, so it's black. So that mountain is Yanantin, as we say yesterday. Yanantin, two faces. It's like masculine and feminine together, dancing together. So there are many apus, like Wamanlipa, like Kauñeoh, Colquepuncu, Chapitum. Chapitum is a beautiful, I love that name. That's one of the communities is called Colpacuchu. And from Colpacuchu, you can see the ruler of that piece of land is Chaputin. Chapitum. Chapitun or Chaputin? No, Chapitum. I always been corrected from my master, Cecilio, Chapitum. He was always correcting me now, it's Chapitum. And the master of all of them, there's a master, a master Apu. They call him Ruel. That's the master of the Apus, the biggest one, not the biggest one, the most powerful. It's called Ausangate. Ausangate. It's an amazing mountain. Actually, I have a picture here in front of me, to remind me the spirit of that mountain. And it has thermal springs, so you can have a hot uh, bath in front of the apple. But don't worry, you shouldn't think like expensive and luxurious hotel with hot springs. This is very popular uh, little pools full of uh, farmers around, and having this bath in a very cold weather, because it's very high. It's like 5,000 meters above the sea level, so it's very high. It's very cold. Actually, like a month ago, we were there, and it was raining and starting to snow, and we were inside of the pools, very hot. It's like 40 degrees, and we were part of our head in the snow and the full body inside of 40 degrees Celsius in these pools. It was funny. Actually, I had some, how to say that, dizziness after being in the pools. Beatrice said, "What are the qualities of the that make Apple more or less powerful?" Actually, it's not about, I don't know, like scale, Beatrice. It's a common knowledge coming from the traditions of the people there. Maybe at some point, some men and women felt with intuition that some of the powers of the Apus are stronger than others. Actually, they said they have this view that some Apus, they irradiate different colors. They call it kanchai or kara, like kind of vibration with different colors. And the intensity of that vibration brings the powerness, or the power of the apple. And as we say yesterday, in comparison, we say that Ojuspacha, as it was related to the opposites in a correspondence, trying to dance together, that we call that yanantin, like the opposites trying to dance together. In the Hanaqpacha, everything points out to one end, to the unity. So the quality of the Hanaqpacha is, if in the Ujuspacha is yanantin, which is the duality dancing, in the Hanaqpacha we call it masintin. 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 Masintin is the opposite of yanantin. Masi is the quality of the similarity, which makes me the same as you. Meaning, what makes you and me the same being? What's the relationship of unity we have? And that particle masi, for example, we can find it in very simple words like wasimasi. Wasi is house, wasi, house. Masi, the similar to my house. That's the translation for neighbor. Wasi masi. So someone who is in the same unity as me, like living like me. That's neighbor, wasimasi. So masintin is the quality that makes us one. If yananti make us two, dancing, accepting and realizing that we are in opposition, we realize and nourish the opposition, the polarity, and the polarity that could dance. In the Masintin, we point out to the similarities that makes us together and united. So if existence is totality and diversity, in the Hanaqpacha, the light makes us one, unity. In the Uhupacha, totality. In the Hanaqpacha, unity. We said existence in the Uhupacha, consciousness in the Hanaqpacha. So consciousness is a quality of our understanding, our knowledge, our way to see things, and we see things through vision, through light. Everything we have eyes just because we are receiving some kind of light from above. That's the only reason. Actually, everything right now is dark because it's night, but this light comes in some way or another from the power of the star, TRAININGThe. Yeah. So light comes from above, and unity, consciousness, and masintin. And there are two animals that represent or symbolize the Hanaqpacha. As we said yesterday, the Uhupacha was represented by the snake or the serpent and the frog. In the Hanaqpacha, there are two main animals, the condor and the hummingbird. Both of them, they have many myths and stories and different kind of tales related to these two animals. One of them, the condor, as the main animal representing the Hanaqpacha, the sky, as maybe you have seen videos, or if you didn't, just please do it. You can search on the web, or you can find some videos in YouTube, the flying of a condor with no effort at all. They are just sailing in the sky without any effort, just moving one or two feathers, just floating in the sky. It's beautiful, beautiful animal, and so powerful. Actually, we've seen right now in our pilgrimage, we were in a beautiful and very difficult place to get. Very mysterious. It's called Wakrapukara. And this place, Wakra, means horns, like like a bull, horns. Wakra means horns. Pukara, it's a place of like a place to look at the horizon, like a platform in the sky. That could be and translation for Pucara, Huacara Pucara. It's a place around a canyon. It's beautiful and massive, and in the middle of the canyon, suddenly the mountain allows to grow some kind of strange formation of rocks that look like two horns pointing out to the sky. Crazy. And the Incas built a temple in that place near nothing known. It's a place, nowhere place. It's very far away from everything we know. So we walk through little paths like 3-4 hours to get there, and the effort, the altitude, all of that, that's very interesting in a pilgrimage. We plan some of the situation, but suddenly some of them just happen. So we walked those 4 hours, maybe 4 3 4 hours. When we got there, in the top of the mountain, in the middle of the temple, we sat down, and suddenly a condor appears, just for any second, like 2 seconds. He flew just far away, like 5 seconds, and turned around and got hidden in a neighbor mountain. And everyone, oh well, it was nice, okay, okay. But suddenly he came back, and he approached us, and suddenly we had this massive animal on top of us, rounding our heads like 2 minutes. Beautiful, massive, it's a majestic animal. It's like 3 meters, 3 meters wide. It's the biggest animal flying on Earth. It's the biggest animal that could fly on Earth. So he flew around, and finally he went away. And in that second visit, suddenly everyone were like, wow, wow. Like an agreement. Like, I don't know, we can say, oh, it was just chance. That was chance. But suddenly it could be, if you read it without emotion, or with the proper emotion, or without superstition, you can start to read signals, signs of situations that life is like talking to you. In that sense, that effort, an effort that some people had, like getting to the limits of the body, but they got there. And that gift is like an answer for our prayers, a real experience, an experience that you can't choose. You can't press a button and suddenly the condor comes in. You don't have that. It happens when it happens, and it happened that moment, in that place. So that kind of experiences, maybe we are full of those kind of experiences, but we are not paying attention. Sometimes we're just distracted. We're not hearing, we're not seeing, we are not feeling enough to understand the signs. So the condors and the hummingbird, they have many stories together. Actually, the oldest tales say that the condor and the hummingbird were the same size. They're, they were big animals, and they were competing like in a challenge to see who of them could be the messenger of Taita Inti, the messenger. So Taita Inti said, "All right, I'm gonna make some tests so we can check who is the stronger, the more powerful animal, the more powerful bird." So they choose a race between two mountains, and in the race, the hummingbird won the race because he was lighter than the condor. Okay, in the second the second contest, they try to hold the flight as much as they can, and the condor won because he had the ability to just hold the fly for so much time. And the third test was to put the beak, I think it's beak, on the snow as much as they can. So they went to the top of the apple and put the beak on the snow, and they stayed for hours, for hours. And suddenly they came at an end. The night came in, and they were still there. And Taita Inti was asking, "Are you all right?" "Yes, I'm all right." Are you all right, Humber?" "Yes." "Are you all right, Condor?" "Yes." So they hold all the night long until the beginning of the day, which is the most cold part of the day. And suddenly Taita Inti asked to the condor, "Are you all right?" "Yes." And he asked to the hummingbird, "Are you all right?" And he couldn't answer. He was frozen. So the condor won the test. And Taita Inti said, "Condor, you have to eat up the hummingbird before I come out and melt him and becoming alive again." So the condor obeyed. Ate the hummingbird completely. But suddenly he felt something in his stomach. And from his backs, as the story says this, suddenly little hummingbirds come out, thousands of them. And from that time, the condor is the messenger of the apple and the Taita Inti, and the hummingbirds are small, very small. And there's another story related to it. It's the story of Siwar Kenti. Siwar, it's a turquoise hummingbird, turquoise hummingbird, like the color. Uh, the condor used to be the messenger of the god of the sky, the father of the sky. So he used to take the questions and the prayers of the people of the land and take it to Taita Inti. And Taita Inti was so strong and powerful that when he arrived in front of him, he couldn't see Taita Inti. So he was just giving the message and bringing back the answer. And one day, one hummingbird, Siwarkenti, Siwarkenti. That's the proper way to call a hummingbird, Kenti. Siwar, as I say, turquoise. He was a very agile and curious bird, and he wanted to go to Taitainti and meet him. And the condor said, "No, you can't go there because you are too small. You will die in the trip to get there." So one day, without realizing, the condor flew back to Taitainti, and Siwarkenti went underneath his wing. So he stayed there all the trip, and when Condor arrived in front of the Father of the Sky, he couldn't see him, so he started to tell the stories of the people of the land. And suddenly the hummingbird appeared and flew around Taitainti, and he stood in his left shoulder, and Taitainti started to laugh, laugh and laugh and laugh, in joy. And from that day, the hummingbird is the second messenger of Taitainti, and he how said that the condor speaks to the god, the Father of the Sky, but the hummingbird, how to say that? How to say it? Murmur. I think it's like I whisper. That's the name. He whisper in the ears. Yes, whisper. Susurra. That's the proper name in Spanish. Susurra. Whisper in the ears of the people. So the message is silent. Is gentle. That's why the hummingbird are just like humming, like whispering. So that they are some of the tales of the Hanaqpacha. The Hanaqpacha as well is related to the sky and the presence, not just Taita Indi, but the presence of Mamakia. I love this story. Thank you. This says Beatriz. Great. It's beautiful story. The other presence of the sky is Mamakia. Actually, last night I was giving this class in Spanish later on, and suddenly the moon appears like in this part of the frame. It was beautiful. Mama Kia is the mother of the cycles, the mother, the mysterious mother of the cycles, not just the agriculture, especially the cycles of any woman. You know, the cycle, the feminine cycles of human beings are unique. Just few animals have this kind of cycles. Most of the animals, they have year-long cycles, like fertile cycles. So they are related to the sun and the seasons of the sun, but the women are moon related. So the moon is so important for humankind, and the moon in the Andes has many traditions around. In the Incas times, they used to have temples for the moon in the two aspects. This is very curious. They have Mama Kia, like the shining moon, and Paxamama. Maybe this is you don't know this Paxamama. Paxamama, meaning the mother of the clarity of the moon. I mean, sometimes the moon has a veil of clouds, and they make a difference between the light, the clean light of the moon, and the clarity of the moon. Those two energies are different. So they had two different temples with two different, how to say that? Sacerdotisa is like priestesses, I think, like women of knowledge of these two lines, Mama Kia and Paxamama, priestesses. Beatriz está ayudándome mucho, muchas gracias. So the moon and the sun, but at the same time, the stars, they call Mamachaska, when they are small stars, literally stars, and Kulyur are the masculine stars, which are normally related to planets more than stars. So when they realized that some of the stars were not stars, were different, like bigger and with colors like Venus or Mars. So they realized that those stars are masculine, or they found a way to differentiate. Kuilyur, like masculine stars, and Chaska, like feminine stars. And you know, the importance of the stars are in a high level in the Andean tradition. We all the healers in the lineage, we have an Itu Apu. Itu Apu. Itu Apu means a guiding star. Everyone have one star, just one star, that is your guide and is helping you to solve situations related to the Hanaqpacha, to the vision, to the complexity of the thoughts and the ideas and the perspective, as I said, all those qualities. So one Ituapu is for you. And there's some initiations related to that kind of experience. You will find, as I found, my own star. And we have an intimate relationship with this star that is every day looking at us, shine at us, giving us hopes and praying for us and giving us inspiration, giving us different ways to see reality. So that relationship with stars is beautiful. And as I said yesterday, the Wilcamayu is the translation for that is sacred river. They call it to the Via Lactea, Milky Way, the Milky Way. The Milky Way, the Via Lactea, the Wilcamayu. They see a river, a sacred river in the sky. And it's very funny because they had this Wilcamayo in the ground. There's a river, Wilcamayo, that has the same direction of the direction of the sky, the same direction. So it's interesting how in the sky and in the land there are uh, correspondences. So Hanaqpacha, how do you relate with Hanaqpacha? How do you relate with your head, with your thoughts? Are you too distracted? Are you paying attention? Can you see, not just watch? Can you see? And in our body is related to a very interesting quality, which is imagination. It's the most precious quality in our brain. Our brain could process information, could process emotions, could process memories, but that quality of imagination is a quality that bring us to another kind of level in animal kingdom. It bring us to break the boundaries of human beings. Imagination can make you feel like flying and you never had wings. No, Beatrice is listening to me. Can you imagine you flying? Why you can do that? Because you have that quality, which is imagination. I never had wings, but I could dream on flying. Why is that? That quality is imagination, and it comes from a little tiny bit of only my dreams. But if I say this, Beatrice, imagine yourself flying as a condor. Suddenly, you can just position it in your mind, like with wings, black wings shining in in the shining the in a beautiful and open day. You can imagine that. So that tiny bit of our brain is called a pineal gland. Pineal gland is just a grain of rice size, very small. And for many traditions, that little bit was responsible for many, even esoteric qualities of our conscious experiences. But the medic science now is revealing or studying it that the pineal gland produce a very intense and powerful hormone called DMT compound that make us visually expand our consciousness suddenly, naturally. So we can imagine, break the boundaries of our human experience through the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is related to the Hanaqpacha. All our heads is related to the Hanaqpacha. If our womb is related to Pachamama, our head is related to the Hanaqpacha. That's the quality of being stand up. We are in 2 feet, 2 foot in our feet. As we stand up, we can make a connection between earth and sky. We talked about this last week when we practiced Kanchari. Earth and sky connected together through our body like a pillar. It's called Saiwa in Quechua. Saiwa. Beautiful. What many call the seeds of. Yes, that's it, Beatrice. Many traditions had not studies on the chemical compounds and components of the pineal gland. They know because of intuition, because of vision, because of, you know, some kind of uh, sensitivity that realize the pineal gland is responsible for something very precious in our experience. And the pineal gland, it crystallizes, calcifies, I think calcifies, it turns stone as we get older. When we were children, it was just shining, expanding our consciousness, making us feel that we can talk with all our tools. We can talk with the clouds and we can talk with the chicken, but calcifies, yes. But when we get older, our pineal gland, if you don't use it, if we don't use it, I mean, if we don't use imagination, that gland suddenly calcifies. So it's losing the quality of making us connect through imagination. Question: if we consider the chakras having the eagle and the condor be the energy of the earth, the heart, the clarity in the higher vision, what would be in the cosmic vision the heart relation with the Hanaqpacha? Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the heart because we said Pachamama, the mother, is related to her womb, to her cosco, to her cosco. Our head is related to the father, to Taitainti, to the father, to the sky. Condor is related to the father. The snake or the serpent is related to the mother. What's gonna have to be related in our heart? It's the stage where the mother and the father meets to dance together. So if you want to know about it, please join us tomorrow's last meeting on this channel. I mean, yeah, tomorrow we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about, if you we said, existence in the womb, consciousness in our head. What could we find in our heart? What could we find in our heart? So we're gonna tell some. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna give you some tales and stories and legends and myths related to our heart tomorrow. So hope you enjoyed this meeting, this talk, this conversation, and see you tomorrow at the same time in our YouTube channel. I was forgetting that if you subscribe to the channel, it's easier to get to the notifications of our classes and the videos and all the things we share. So it's easier for you and for us to communicate. So thank you so much for your presence, for your attention, for your comments. Thank you. Gracias, Beatriz, querida. Quién sabe algún día. You say that you are from Suecia, Suecia. I have some friends, very good friends in Sweden. Soy argentino viviendo en Suecia. Bueno, tengo unos amigos muy buenos allá en Suecia, así que quién sabe En algún momento nos encontramos. Tengo mi tía allá en Suecia, una tía del alma allá en Suecia. Dear people, thank you for being here. And tomorrow we're gonna continue this second module of the Agreements of the Earth, talking about the stories of the Andean traditions. A big hug to you. Big hug, Beatriz. Please let me know if you are here. Love to hold ceremonies. Great. Hope we can go to Sweden next year, maybe next year. Big hug to you. Urpichai Sonkochai. Urpichai Sonkochai. Urpichai Sonkochai. See you tomorrow.